Hello and welcome to One Cool Thing, PC Mag's daily show on Facebook where we show you one cool thing which we are testing out in the PC Mag labs. I am Sasha Segan, this is Will Greenwald, and this is a very cool thing. This is a gorgeous TV. This TV, I want to lick this TV. The colors are so just delicious looking. What is this thing?
This is the Sony XBR 65A1E. It is Sony's OLED consumer TV.
Why can't TV companies name their products?
Everything needs its own unique SKU.
Okay, so what we have here, how big is this? What is the technology? And let's start with what is the price?
Well, this is a $5,500 TV. It's 65 inches, and it uses OLED, organic light-emitting diode technology, which is why it is so expensive. Instead of LCDs, it uses a completely different tech where each pixel illuminates and provides the color, which is incredibly impressive. It can produce perfect black levels, which LCD TVs can't do. It can reach much wider color. It looks great, but the problem is creating OLED panels this size are extremely expensive.
Now, LG was known to be the leader in OLED TVs.
Yep.
How does this OLED panel quality compare to LG's, or are they the same panels?
They're not the same panels. They are very similar because both can get pretty bright, not as bright as necessarily a full blast LED TV, but perfect black levels, which is the big draw of OLED panels. They can reach wide with color. We found with this TV, the SKU is a tiny bit cooler than the LG's, but both TVs, like, they're high-end, so they have a full slew of ways you can calibrate them. And we do recommend calibration if you're going to invest in an expensive television for a full home theater.
Now speaking of cool things about this TV,
Yep.
This is a pretty cool interface. What is the operating system on this TV, and do you anticipate people will be using the TV through this OS, or are they just going to be going to whatever the cable box is anyway?
This is Android TV, and it's also available on the NVIDIA Shield TV, which has built-in Google Assistant, which is a neat thing. It has voice search. You can get some information.
Alexa.
What's the weather this week?
Here's the forecast for New York City.
This isn't full Google Assistant, though. It can't give you much complex information. It can do very simple things, sports scores, weather. It can't control smart devices. For that full gamut of stuff, you need basically a Fire TV with Alexa, or you need a NVIDIA Shield TV with Google Assistant, or a Apple TV 4K.
Although, wait!
Yep.
Look!
Yep.
You could Alexa this TV.
Yes, but that doesn't actually go into the interface of the system. It means you can sort of control it remotely if you have an Echo, so you can trigger it with your voice. That's neat, but it doesn't actually have anything to do with this interface, particularly.
Okay, so what kind of content sources do we have on here? Are these all the content sources you want?
You can cover pretty much everything here. I'm not sure if Amazon is available because
I think I saw it back there.
Oh yeah, Amazon is available. There is sort of an odd thing we've seen with the Fire TV, which even though it's based on Android, you can actually access Google Play, but with this and with Roku, which doesn't use Android at all, you can access both Amazon and Google Play.
We got Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Google,
Yeah.
between those four services. Oh, here's Sling.
Sling, PlayStation View, I'm pretty sure DirecTV
Plex
now.
for the weirdos. Here's CBS if you like Star Trek. We got some sports. Got some sports here.
Vudu on-demand movies, and that's actually good for this TV because it has Dolby Vision, which is how Vudu handles HDR. If your TV or streamer doesn't handle Dolby Vision, you have to watch Vudu 4K content in standard dynamic range.
Here's your HBO and your Showtime. Now, how many of these do as many of these services have 4K as possible?
Generally, yeah. That's pretty much what we've seen. And there's a whole Google Play store, but it is sort of the limited Android TV version. You're not going to get every Android title on it because, well, we have a question.
How good are the voice commands?
They're okay. You can use it to search for content. Legends of Tomorrow. It's such a schlocky show, but I like it.
Oh, I love it. It's a guilty pleasure.
It doesn't necessarily...
oh, Brandon Routh has teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on, it can aggregate to different things. Obviously, it kind of defaults to Google Play.
I guess we're not
Android.
We're not logged into Netflix or Hulu here.
Yeah.
So if you were logged in, would it say Netflix, Hulu?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
But you can get sort of. What's the score of the Lakers game? What sports are playing now?
I don't know about sports.
Okay.
But look, they had a score.
Okay, season over, but whatever.
Yeah.
You can get like sports scores and weather, but that's kind of it, and you can just search for content. That's nice. It isn't a full-on Alexa, Siri, Google Assistant system.
Now they're saying. Now I noticed this. They have this little promotion here.
Right.
Are they giving you free content as well?
These promotions can always depend on when you get a TV, whether they have an active thing happening, if it's on sale, if they'll give you stuff. You can get some months of music. You can get a booster pack from Ease Real Racing free. We don't really recommend playing games on the connected system of a TV because they usually suck.
Now one thing that strikes me here is, of course, like a lot of these high-end panels, I see no room for speakers here. What is going on with this TV and audio?
The speakers are all built into this big sort of easel back that you can't see from this angle, but there's this big slab that props up the TV. And that's where all the electronics are, the connections, and a speaker system that actually does sound pretty good. You can't fit any drivers on the panel. It's a thin OLED panel, but you can fit a bunch of drivers on this big slab behind the panel, which gives all the sound you need.
Now, since there's no way we can turn this around on camera,
right,
what do we have for ins and outs?
Pretty much standard stuff. HDMI. You can have all the wired connections you need. It's we can't really look behind.
Why don't you go back there and tell us?
Yeah.
Go spelunking.
Optical. There's actually a port for RS-232C connections if you want to integrate this into a home automation custom installation system.
Old school smart home.
There's a variety of IR blasters, IR input stuff. Just it's kind of awkward to get to this because all the ports are built on the bottom of the easel, but it's they're there.
Let's take some more questions.
While you're back there, did you notice how many HDMI ports there are? Sorry to make you.
I believe there are 4.
I think I saw
as
4.
I recall.
Yeah.
Yep, 4.
4.
And they are, of course, all capable of handling 4K. HDR. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, another question.
Is it very different from the Toshiba Android TVs?
We haven't tested much in the way of the Toshiba Android TVs, but generally Android TV implementation is pretty similar across the board. This interface is very similar to the NVIDIA Shield TV.
I feel like Toshiba's not a big name in TVs in the U.S.
Not anymore, no. It used to be, but there's been splintering, and there's also been sort of a weird shuffling where you have these companies that are doing flagship TVs, Sony, LG, Samsung, and you have this whole slew of relatively new, at least for North America, Chinese manufacturers like TCL, Hisense that are very good at making budget TVs, and it's shaken out a lot of the sort of traditional, not top tier, but still pretty well-known brands. Toshiba is, I'm not entirely sure what their current status is in North America. Sharp has basically become Hisense. Hisense makes Sharp TVs, and it's sort of a weird shakeup.
So now, how does this?
That's how the market is.
How does the price of this compare to a similarly sized LG OLED?
It's pretty similar. The issue with LG OLEDs we've seen is it's not necessarily an issue. It's just sort of pricing questions about it. That the price of these OLED TVs, LG often shows them as discounted by $1,500, and so the MSRP might be a bit higher than this model, but the effective price might be a bit lower, but that might be promotional for a certain period of time. We generally go by the strict list price unless a discount is permanent. So. But yeah, if you want an OLED TV this big, you're spending that much money. It's going to be several $1,000s.
Let's take some more questions.
Someone wants to know when it will get Dolby Vision.
It has Dolby Vision. The
answer is now.
The Sony A1E TV is, I believe, the only Sony TV right now that has Dolby Vision included, not just HDR10. So it can handle both.
Okay, so we've got both of the HDR versions. Any more questions out there?
How many nits does it have?
I can actually look that up now.
Yeah, the sheer brightness. Hey! Okay.
Because I actually measured this number. We measured 470 nits using an 18% window pattern. Obviously, if you tamp that down to like a 10% window pattern, it'll go up. We tend to go by default 18.
And that looks like it's slightly less bright than a bright LED TV.
It's actually pretty bright, considering.
Yeah.
Obviously, how we measure brightness between LED TVs and OLEDs is kind of different because of how different LED TVs can boost the power for LEDs if it shrinks it, or some don't. It really depends on the individual TV and the manufacturer. OLEDs, generally, again, it's allocating how much energy you can to all the pixels. If you have a full white field, it gets dimmer. If you shrink it down, it gets much brighter. You could like make a pinpoint of really bright light, but that isn't going to give you the best sense. We have another question.
What's the hardware that it uses for gaming? Someone's asking what the CPU and GPU are.
I don't know the specific CPU and GPU off the top of my head. It certainly isn't like the Tegra processor that NVIDIA uses with the Shield TV or the Nintendo Switch. But it's enough to run 4K and HDR content, but again, like, you need to bring in your own gamepad with this type of thing. This is not really built for gaming. There are some mobile games on Android TV you can use. You can pair Bluetooth gamepads with it. But generally, we recommend that...
honestly, don't game through the operating system of your television. Yeah. That's one of those things where, like, it's a thing that exists, but we don't recommend you do it. I don't really know anyone who recommends you do it.
Yeah, even media streamers, Roku, Amazon Fire, they have games. They aren't great. The only exception we can think of is really the NVIDIA Shield TV, but that's a media streamer built as sort of a gaming accessory for hardcore gamers, because you can stream your PC games to it. You can use GeForce Now. There are a lot of tricks that other systems don't really have. We have another question.
Who's the perfect customer for this TV?
Someone who's willing to spend $4,500 on a
I
TV.
was going to say me with a lot more money.
Yeah, it's if you want a great home theater and you don't want to set up a very complicated projector system, a full custom installation, which can cost much more than this, basically the OLED is the best picture you can get. Yeah, whether it's Sony or LG, this is going to be the best TV you can get.
And now one thing I would like to point out is that this is not a good TV for hanging because of that giant back.
Actually, it is okay for hanging because you can't see on the back, but this metal strut, this is actually part of setting it up. You can fold it inward, so it's just this big flat strut against the panel, and it is actually fine for hanging. Just be careful when you're setting it up. That's the case.
But yeah, I mean, I would say that, like, I would love this TV. It's just a matter of, can you spend $4,500 on a TV? I know personally I cannot, but if you can, more power to you. You're going to have a lovely TV.
If you're willing to get 55 inches, you can get an OLED for around $3,000, but that's still pretty pricey.
Let's take another question.
Someone wants to know what type of Wi-Fi it uses.
I'm pretty sure dual band. In fact, I think it is connected to our, it's connected to our 5 gigahertz lab test network right now. Which is good because basically if you want to stream 4K, if you're not going to connect this using Ethernet, which we do generally recommend if you're going to stream 4K, but that's not always an option, you want a 5 gigahertz connection.
Yeah. Just for a hoot, why don't you launch Asphalt Nitro?
Sure. We have another question, though.
Yep, while it launches.
Because it's Android, do you have to worry about antivirus? Could you actually install antivirus on it?
I don't believe so.
You have to allow.
I mean, I suppose it's possible, like there would be a way to maybe sideload it, but I don't think there are any Android TV antiviruses.
Yeah, I mean, let's be serious about the whole Android virus situation. People get viruses on Android because they're almost always because they're installing applications that were not gotten from the Google Play Store. The Google Play Store has its own antivirus built into it. This runs only an extremely limited set of applications.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get the kinds of viruses and Trojans that you get when you're downloading random APKs from pirate sites, installing them on your phone because you're too cheap to buy software.
Since it is Android-based, you probably could sideload things if you wanted to, but sideloading anything to a Android device that doesn't have a touchscreen
would be fascinating.
I've tried it a couple times with Fire TV devices. It is very, very unreliable at best.
Okay. Any more questions out there?
One last one. Can someone buy a 100-inch version of this?
No, I don't believe so. In fact, there is kind of a scaling issue with getting OLED panel manufacturing over a certain state. In fact, I believe
What's the biggest OLED out there?
I think 75 inches, and that is 18,000.
Okay.
It's basically going to increase geometrically by the price of, by the size of the panel.
It's yeah. I mean, we're relatively early on this technology. People are still figuring it out.
At least manufacturing at this scale and this size of OLEDs. You know, there are plenty of phones. A lot of Samsung phones use AMOLED. You can manufacture OLED panels at like 6 inches, but once you get past 55 inches, it starts to get pretty pricey.
Okay, great. So this pricey, high-end, gorgeous, glorious TV, how did we rate it? Is it an editor's choice?
We rated it 4 stars. We didn't quite give it an editor's choice because, well, the LG we tested is a little bit less expensive, and we found the colors out of the box. You can, of course, always calibrate it to be a bit better. But we have one less question, I guess.
That was actually me putting the sheet back. It's
Okay.
Okay, so thank you all for watching. This has been One Cool Thing with this gorgeous Sony OLED TV. We will be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern with another cool thing for you.